So as we know, the new LOSAT update has came out yesterday, and the game is currently going for a lot of meta changes because now there is a lot of vehicles that became a lot more powerful and the other ones have become weaker. The LOSAT is currently ranked by a lot of players as the #1 vehicle in the whole entire game. So in today's video, guys, I'll be finding out if that is really true and how OP that LOSAT truly is by putting it against our favorite Abrams X. So anyway, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so here we are right into the game. You guys already know the drill. The first is I'm going to be testing the health of both of these. First off, I'm going to be using the Abrams X, and next up I'll be testing the health of the LOSAT. I'll be shooting the side for this test to actually see the true damage because we would like to analyze how much health both of these tanks or vehicles actually have. So the Abrams X has lost 6% after one explosive sniper shot, so let's actually start shooting. So here is 4 shots and the Abrams X does not look that much damage, so this might take a little while, so let's actually speed it up. Alright, so we are slowly coming up to our last shots. After 16 shots, it is left at very low percentage. So this is shot number 17, number 18, and then number 19. And the reason why the Abrams X died after 19 shots is because the explosive sniper, as we all know, it does exactly 100 damage. So here is our comparison. The Abrams X is able to tank 19 shots. So let's take a look at the LOSAT. Alright guys, so here we have ourselves the LOSAT. I'll be shooting it exactly in the same place as the Abrams X to ensure that this is as much qualitative info as we can. So this is number 1, and let's see how much it's actually going to be left at. It's going to be left at exactly 92% after one shot. So it's already taking a lot more damage than what the Abrams X was taking. So let's actually speed this up. And we are finally coming up to probably our last shot after this. Okay, so this is our 13th shot, and after this I believe the LOSAT is going to die. So I believe the LOSAT has exactly 1,400 health from the last time I've actually checked. It used to have 1,700, but looks like they decided to nerf the health, so the LOSAT can tank 14 shots from the explosive sniper. So the winner of this category, it's actually going to be the Abrams X. Okay, so moving into our next category, it is going to be the maximum speed that both of these vehicles can go up to. As you guys can see on the screen, here are the statistics for the Abrams X speed, which is exactly 50 miles per hour. However, if we do have a look at the LOSAT, it has been nerfed since yesterday. Yesterday it was able to go 50 miles per hour, but today it is now able to go 40 miles per hour. So a quick winner for this category, it's going to be the Abrams X once again. And by the way, I really want to thank all of my channel members for joining the channel yesterday. If you guys would like to become a channel member and help me out, but also get yourself some cool perks on the channel, feel free to join. Anyway, back into the video. Alright, so moving into the next categories, these ones are going to be a lot more practical than just health and etc. I am going to be showcasing to you guys on how useful they are in a lot of different situations and how are their strengths and weaknesses actually going to work out in the actual fight as well. So the first thing which we're going to be testing is going to be a practical damage test once again on how much the machine gun or both of these vehicles will be able to do for example, a Sherman. So anyway, let's jump right into the damage test. Alright, so first up I'm going to be testing the LOSAT, so let's actually start shooting the Sherman with it. After around a whole series of shots, the Sherman barely really took any damage, so to me, just from this test, it already seems that this gun is not going to be practical for killing anything whatsoever like vehicles, or even just finishing vehicles off. I think it would really be the best for stuff like destroying infantry, but you guys would have to be really accurate. Anyway, let's speed this test up a little bit, or not. It's almost about to kill the Sherman. It's gonna take us at least 5 series of shots to actually destroy it, which is actually incredibly bad. But on the other hand, if we do use the Abrams X, just after one series of shots, it's gonna be able to literally shred the Sherman, which is based on around at least 1000 HP, so that's a huge difference. Alright, so now time to move into their capabilities in terms of being able to destroy the anti-air. For this test, I will be using the F-35, and I'm not gonna be showing the Abrams X, since we all know that the Abrams X cannot kill an F-35 in one shot, but it takes exactly 2 shots. That is just common info, but let's actually try out the LOSAT and see how powerful it is is in terms of taking out stuff that's also in the air. So the F-35 will be going in VTOL mode, and I will just be firing some LOSAT shots at it and see how long it's gonna take to kill it. So this is going to be the shot number 1. And then next up we have ourselves shot number 2. Looks like the F-45 actually dies in 2 hits, much like the Abrams X, which to me it already shows that this vehicle is going to be just as good as the M3 Bradley and the VCAC Mephisto in terms of being able to destroy stuff in air. So this LOSAT seems to actually impress in anti-air just as much as our vehicles like the Bradley. So if I had to actually make a choice which is the winner for this category, personally I will be going with the LOSAT, simply with the fact because once the Abrams X does shoot its cannon shell, it has to wait at least 10 seconds to regenerate at least, while the LOSAT does have still 11 missiles left, which is absolute craziness, man. LOSAT is definitely winning this category. Okay, so the next category of this test is going to be in fact a brute force exchange between the Abrams X and the LOSAT in close range at equal distances to see which one is actually going to win. I am going to be putting them right next to each other to of course ensure that every single chance is going to be equal for both of these vehicles. So let's actually begin the exchange. Alright, so the second I say go, we're gonna begin and I'm gonna start shooting all of my missiles at the Abrams X, and it doesn't really come as a surprise to all of you, but the LOSAT is going to win this fight even though the Abrams X even attacked first. However, this was actually a quiet close fight if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The Abrams X is actually also really good in close range simply because of the Javelin, its cannon shield, of course, the machine gun, which is also made for finishing off the enemies. But this was actually closer than expected. However, the LOSAT will be winning in the close range category for the fact for sure. Once again, while making this test, you do have to take into consideration that close range fights is not gonna be the only way that these fights are gonna go. Since the Abrams X has much more counters and versatility than the LOSAT, we have to take into consideration the fact that let's say the Abrams X uses all of its versatility such as the Javelin and the smoke in an actual fight, or just being able to spot the LOSAT earlier, it's gonna give the Abrams X an immediate win, as you guys can see on the screen right now, as even a perfect example on what would happen in such a specific scenario. So at the end of the day, we do really have to consider that the Abrams X has a lot more counters and versatilities than the LOSAT itself as well. So in terms of actual long-range fights, the Abrams X is going to be taking the category. However, in terms of close range, the LOSAT is also going to win. So now here comes a very difficult question. Who is the actual winner of this whole entire video? Who do I think is the new best vehicle in the whole entire game? Since the LOSAT does have the hardest and the strongest firepower in the whole entire game, this is the first time I'm ever gonna say this, but the LOSAT seems to be, at this current moment, the best vehicle in War Tycoon, simply by the fact that it's very tanky, it can destroy anything in close range, it's better at anti-air than the Abrams X, and really it can also shred stuff like the F-35, just simply because you almost have no chance to miss a single shot, or even if you do, you have literally 12 missiles to make it up for that, and just a machine gun to finish off the enemy. It's really good to finish off the infantry with the machine gun, but it's not gonna be any better use for anything else. So for the first time I'm gonna say this, the LOSAT is probably the new best vehicle in War Tycoon. But if you are smart with the Abrams X and know how to use long range, you should be getting the fight won. But once again, F-35 and other vehicles in the game could do the same thing. So it's all also about the player, which is something that we have to also consider. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the LOSAT being this powerful. Personally, I am all for it because it adds a lot more versatility and a lot more fun into the meta itself, because the Abrams X used to be dominating it. Now it's a little more interesting. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and again, thank you so much to all of my channel members. If you'd like to become a channel member and help me out, but also get yourself some cool perks, feel free. And yeah, make sure to stay notified, because in this whole entire week I will be posting some bangers. I already have a few very cool videos planned, and we also have to go through the balance changes, so make sure to stick out for that as well.